Hey, what's up, everybody? Frederick Polk here. Feels like the world's kind of spinning out of control right now, doesn't it? Everything's getting to be a little crazier. And you wake up and you're thinking, oh Lord, what new fresh hell is in store for the rest of us? And more, things just seem to pile up. That anxiety, that fear, that depression. And, you find yourself kind of giving in more and more to that feeling. Yeah. Trust me, it's natural. Everything that's going on right now is definitely outside the norms. And you're kind of wondering, like, man, I can't go on this way. What the hell am I going to do about it? I got a possible solution. It's not always going to be effective, but it's kind of something I do. It's something I did in leadership, and it's something I try to apply in my own life. And that is having a concrete understanding of what the hell it is you're trying to do. Now, I know that sounds like a whole lot of gobbledygook or, some fortune cookie wisdom, but stick with me for a bit. I'll walk you through it, figuratively speaking. So, I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he was telling me about an issue that, one of his clients was having a dispute with one of their business partners. See, he'd gotten hired to basically run accounts and do some management consulting for a third party. And we got to chatting, and he said, man, I kept trying to warn the site manager that he was having all these cost overruns. And he kept telling me, it's okay. It's okay. Prove it, it's okay. And now the actual costs have come in. And not only are they over budget, they're way over budget. By a good bit. Maybe close to a third. And that ain't good. Not when you're talking about millions of dollars. So he was talking with me, and some of the stuff was real frivolous, right? Like the project they were doing had let's just call it, they had to make allowances for, let's just say, an interior decorator that was, putting up the money for, putting up a good chunk of the money for this. And that interior decorator wanted more staff, wanted them to, have these specific tools, all this special stuff that wasn't needed, that just jacked the price up. And so then the site supervisor just kind of said, man, whatever, let them have it. And nobody's telling them no, right? And then, of course, what that led to was folks working on it, but because no one's really properly scheduling, then they went ahead and scheduled themselves for 6 and 7 days. And that was easy to do because the client didn't really understand what the hell they wanted. So then they kept changing their mind halfway through stuff, and then they have to start over and re-spend money and all this other stuff. And not only that, because a lot of these employees were gig workers, they were union, but they were gig workers, they held their paychecks back for this whole project, which is getting ready to wrap. And so they turned them all in at once. And when you do that, that leads to more penalties, and that leads to more union fees. So that's how this all blows up. So my friend asked me, specifically when it came to this interior designer, hey man, how would you handle that? And normally my friend didn't really ask me that directly. We just kind of talk shop. And now my friend wasn't in a position to dictate anything. He just kind of observed what that leadership was doing. And I said, oh, that's easy. I just tell them no. And he laughed. He said, oh, well, you couldn't tell this person no. I said, well, sure I could. They could fire me, That might happen. I'm willing to risk that. But I would have a meeting with them, and I'd go in, and I already have my position, which is no. And then I would calmly explain why we couldn't do it. And I would point out all the reasons. Well, there's legal liability. Well, there's, cost overruns. You're going to set a bad precedent here. And I'd just kind of calmly go down through it. And then if they pitched a fit or they, acted up, I'd say, I understand. I appreciate all that. But we can't do it, man. It's not in the budget. And I mean, if you want to pony up more money, feel free, and we'll make it work. I'd give them alternatives that were budget friendly. I'd try to work with them in every way I possibly could. But I'm going into that meeting with my answer already. It's this, give you all the nice stuff, and I'm going to end with this. That's it. Now, how does that apply to your personal life? Well, it's kind of the same thing. We've got a president, DJT, that today he says, well, he's going to pause tariffs on Mexico for a month until August, and we'll see. And that's a DJT move, is you make some big proclamation, then you pull it back, and then in a few days you put it back out there, and it's this back and forth, like a tennis match, of chaos and indecision and all that. And now a lot of people are going to give him, oh, he's Lex Luthor. Oh, he's timing the market. Oh, he's such a genius. No, he's not. No. He's a malignant narcissist with megalomania, delusions, and poor impulse control. That's what he is. Because one of the things, again, I've said this in other videos, I do not want to give intelligence to where there isn't any. I make that mistake all the time. And so that's what we're going to be living through for the next 2, 4, or however many years it's going to be. And if you focus too much on that instead of what you're trying to do and understanding what you're trying to do with your life, well, there's going to be disruption. You're going to let that malignant narcissist, who absolutely wants your attention all the time. And there's an entire ecosystem that's out there supporting it and spinning it and trying to get him, trying to say, put genius where there isn't any. And there's other people that are going to be like, you'll never believe what he did. Oh, this is his meltdown. Oh, this is coming. Oh, boy. Oh. You can't watch it all, nor should you. Yeah, you should absolutely be involved and do what you can. But for a lot of folks, you got to work. You got obligations to family, whether that be kids, your spouse, maybe your parents, like I do, my sister and my mom. Maybe you've got things you want to accomplish. You want to start working out more. You want to start writing. You want to start creating. You want to do all these things. And every time you don't have that concrete understanding of what you're trying to do with your life, and you deviate from that when it's unnecessary, when you give into that spectacle, you're taking away energy from what you're trying to do. You're losing that concrete understanding. That's why when you wake up in the morning, that's you're going into that meeting with that potential problem client. When you open your eyes, you say, what am I trying to do today? What are the main things that I need to get done? What is the most important thing I need to have happen today? All right, I'm gonna make sure that gets done. I may have to shift focus, and I may have to focus on other things, but I'm gonna make progress on these things, and you stick to it. And if you do that, in spite of everything that's going on, you're going to feel better about things. You're going to feel like you got more of a handle on it, because ultimately you control what you do and how you react to things. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Keep the faith, defend democracy, and I'll see you later.